In this video, I'm going to show you 5 powerful alternatives to the alien gambit. In fact, 5 gambits that are even better than the alien gambit.
Trap number 1 in the Caro-Kann defense Karpov variation. This is where you begin with e4, then black plays c6, the Caro-Kann defense, and then you go d4, then d5, and then you play knight c3, and d takes e4 is the top played move right in this position where you have to take back with your knight. And now it's time to wait and see what black is up to. So say your opponent is playing knight d7, which is called the Karpov variation, by the way. The idea is black wants to play knight gf6, e6, bishop e7, and castle shot given a chance. But that's what we want. In this position, guys, believe it or not, the main theoretical move which most grandmasters play is simply knight g5 instead of pawn to h6, which allows us to go knight e6. Say black plays knight gf6 right in this position, stopping queen h5 in advance and now ready to play pawn to h6. Well, the move that I recommend here is bishop c4, now targeting the f7 square so that in case of h6 you can simply mate with your bishop just like that. Instead of h6, you're going to see most of your opponents playing pawn to e6, the top played move, by the way, after which you can now go queen e2. As you can see in the Lichess database, the top played move is knight b6 followed by bishop e7. Let's begin with the worst. Bishop e7. Guys, the move here is simply knight takes f7, sacrificing your knight, also double attacking the queen and the rook. If black takes, that will be a mate in 3 after queen takes, and wherever the king goes, that will be checkmate. If king g6, that will only be a delayed mate after bishop d3 check, and then king h5, then queen h3 checkmate. Bingo. Subscribe. Right. Trap number 2, the bishop f5 response. Instead of the Karpov variation, say after c6, d4, d5, knight c3, pawn takes, knight takes, and then instead of knight d7, black plays the top played move bishop f5. The best you can do here is going knight g3, and then they'll play bishop g6, so you can go pawn to h4 trying to trap that bishop somehow. The top played move is h6, creating this room for the bishop, and now you simply go knight to f3 because what else? And this is when you will see most of your opponents developing their king's knight. And guess what? Now you simply go knight e5 once again, getting ready for that piece setup that I showed you at first, guys. They play bishop h7, and now you simply go bishop c4. See how you set up that position, now attacking these. So black usually plays pawn to e6, covering that sham, and now you go queen e2. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the similar setup that I showed you in the introduction of this video. This time, our knight is not on g5, it's on e5, but it still performs the same job, you guys. Because the thing is, if black plays the top played move, as you can see in the Lichess database, knight b d7, you are winning with this move. Knight takes f7, double attacking the queen and the rook once again. If king takes, there's a mate in 2 here which begins with queen takes e6 check, and after king g6 only move, you simply go queen f5. Bingo. Before I show you my next chess move, let me show you a smarter move for your finances. I hate advertisements and I know you don't like them either, but without them, this channel can't survive. This video is sponsored by Tech Clean Books, your all-in-one bookkeeping and accounting application that I personally built. More like quicker books, you know what I mean? So you can record sales, expenses, transfers, deposits, cash outs, and soft loans, to mention only but a few, and instantly generate invoices, income statements, balance sheets, cash flow statements, journal entries, all in real time. Tech Clean Books helps you track every cent like a grandmaster tracking moves on the board. Now back to chess. Trap number 3 in the Scotch Gambit. Now this is where you start with e4, then black plays e5. You go knight f3, knight c6, and right away you go pawn to d4. The top played move, as you can see in the Lichess database, is e takes d5, after which you go knight g5. What's the idea? Because we don't have a light squared bishop on c4 this time. Why developing the knight so early? Well, because we have plans to sacrifice it on f7 just like that, double attacking the queen and the rook on h8. So black has to take, and this is when we develop our light squared bishop with check. And trust me, you guys, all these highlighted moves in red are mistakes. The best move that black can play here is king g6, which is a very hidden move. And I can guarantee you none of your beginner opponents or your intermediate level opponents are going to see this move. The top played move is king e8, but this leads to checkmate very quickly after queen h5 check and king e7, and here there's a mate in 4 which starts with queen f7 check, king d6, bishop f4 check, and if king c5, simply go queen d5 check, and on the next move you mate black in style. If they don't play king c5 and let's say they block your check with knight e5, well, you have queen d5 check, and on the next move you take that pawn knight and mate like this. And so after sacrificing your knight and playing bishop c4 check, if black doesn't play king e8 and let's say they go king e7 this time, well, the best I can advise here is to find attacking moves first. Since this is a gambit, please note that queen h5 doesn't attack a thing. You don't have bishop g5 check. So the move to remember here is pawn to c3. If black doesn't do anything about this, we are just going to take that pawn. But if they take, which is a blunder, now you go knight takes c3, taking with the tempo. If knight f6, you give a check, and look at this, you guys, they mostly take this knight, after which you go queen takes d5. Next, you are threatening to mate black as highlighted. Anyways, so you're going to see black playing queen e8, stopping queen f7 check, but you have another unexpected sack, you guys. Bishop g5 check. And the only move is for black to play hg, after which you go queen takes g5 check, king d6 only move, you castle along with check, and on the next move you're going to mate black like this. Trap number 4, the Tennison Gambit with knight to f3 followed by pawn to d5, which is the most played move, where you continue with pawn to e4, hoping that black takes, after which you go knight g5. Or the other way this position can be reached is by starting with pawn to e4 on move 1, then black plays d5, the Scandinavian defense, and then you go knight f3, and d takes e4, knight g5. So once again, we are back to the Tennison Gambit. For those of you guys who are not familiar with the Tennison Gambit, the whole idea is to hope that black plays knight to f6, so that now you can go d3, they take on d3 with their e-pawn, then you take back with your bishop, again you hope that they play pawn to h6, so that you can now sacrifice your knight on f7, attacking the queen on d8 and the rook on h8. They take your knight on f7, go bishop g6 check, hence winning the free queen on d8. Back to this Tennison Gambit position. Well, many people seem to know it nowadays, and so you're not going to see them doing what you expect to see. So after you go knight g5 and they play knight f6, followed by pawn to d3. First of all, you might not see them taking on d3, even though that is okay. The move that you're going to see from time to time in this position is bishop g4. Well, after bishop g4, what I recommend is just to play queen d2. But again, if black takes on d3, you simply take back with your bishop. Why putting our queen on d2? Because we still want to maintain this threat of sacrificing our knight on f7 after pawn to h6, so that after king takes, we still go bishop g6, check, and winning black's free queen. Let's see what else black can do. So again, after bishop g4 by black, and then you go queen d2, you might not see black taking on d3. Instead, they may play something solid here like knight c6. Well, I recommend you just take back the pawn. This is what I talked about earlier, where you're just going to have an ego game from here. You play pawn to f3, bishop e6, knight c3. I mean, on the next move, you're going to castle along with no any threats on your side. This is just an eco game that you are playing. It's not even a gambit anymore. Trap number 5. This one happens in the Petrov defense, and it's one trap that you can even try in classical games or standard OTB tournament games. Beginning with e4, after e5, you go knight f3, and after knight to f6, at this point you don't know what to do. You just take the e5 pawn. Russian players know their theory very well. In this line, they play pawn to d6. But guess what? If you are feeling lazy to play this game and just want to get a quick draw or take your opponent out of his prep, just go knight takes f7, sacrificing your knight once again. This has been played at the top level, not a dubious opening. After king takes, you just go pawn to d4. Just to show you what is happening here, there is no knight takes e4 once again due to queen h5 check. Same stuff after pawn to g6, you go queen d5 check and get back your piece. But after you go pawn to d4, what if black pins your e4 pawn to the king? Well, you just go knight c3 once again, knowing that there is no knight takes e4 due to queen h5 check again. Same trap, same mistake. Now, if you want to learn more about this trap, I'd advise that you put these lines on Stockfish and analyze them very well. Now, before I end this video, I would love to show you a very important trap that also happens in the Russian game or the Petrov, which is called the white quick on the draw. So the opening starts as a normal Russian game where black is copying everything that white is trying to do, but instead of taking on e5 like what everybody does, you can turn the tables around by playing pawn to d4, a very unique move, allowing black to take your free pawn on e4. By the way, I also recommend this line in real OTB classical games or tournament games. This works like magic. After this, you want to take on e5, but first of all, you want to develop a piece in a way of attacking a misplaced piece of your opponent. Knight to f6 is not good because we can simply take and it is us who are ahead in development. For example, if they play queen e7, we can just go ahead and castle shot. If knight d5, we can just go knight g5 and let's say h6. We even have queen h5, by the way. Look at this beautiful combination. If h takes g5, you simply win the rook and there is no problem. If black plays pawn to g6, you can just go ahead and sacrifice your bishop. If they take, you can take back with check. And if king e7, this is going to be met in one. And let's say if black plays queen e7 instead of pawn to g6, you can still sacrifice your knight like this, because if they take back, you have bishop g6 pinning the queen to the king. This is all in the Russian game, guys. That's why I like this line and you should start playing it as well. So that's why knight back to f6 by black is not good because of this line. So you're going to see most of your opponents playing pawn to d5 instead of retreating their knight. And now that black's knight is defended, this is when you want to take on e5. And believe it or not, your knight is safe. If pawn to f6, you already know this famous trick. I mean, once again, you're going to win black's rook on h8, so they better not do that. The move they always play is knight d7, trying to get rid of your knight, but it is here where you can claim a quick draw, theoretically speaking, beginning with the move knight takes f7. So you see this knight sacrifice on f7 once again, forcing their king to take, and then you go queen h5 check, and as per theory, black has to play king e7, and then you go queen e2. Again, they play king f7, you go queen h5 check. Again, they play king e7, you go queen e2. I'm not even joking, guys. Look at these stats. This is what masters play if they just want to make a quick draw. You can see all these draws right here. Like, there is no hope for continuity. If black tries to do something else, he may end up losing this game or accepting to be behind in development. For example, if black tries to play something else like knight f6, you can go pawn to f3, trying to get back your piece. If bishop e6, you just take that piece and simplify the game like this. Oversimplifying the game, you are going to remain with the pawn on the center of the board. Now check this out, you guys. If you want to learn more about these kinds of tricks or similar opening ideas like the ones I just shared, you can watch this video that has popped up on the top left. Another video that I highly recommend you check out to skyrocket your rating is this one that has popped up on the top right. But if you love Gambit videos, you can check out the video that has popped up on the bottom left. And if you are a lover of chess traps like myself, feel free to click on the video that has popped up on the bottom right.